Greetings, my name is Lenon and I greet you with lots of love, peace, and positivity. I hope you're doing well. I'm out here in nature and I found a nice little location here tucked away and I'm enjoying it out here. And thank you for joining me. You get to spend some time out here in nature with me as I talk a little bit with you here on my YouTube account, Lenon Honor Films. My website, by the way, is lenonhonor.com, and also have another website, lenonhonorfilms.com. Lenon Honor Films is most of my older work. lenonhonor.com is my newer work. And when you have some time, head on over to either one of those websites and hopefully you can find something to benefit you. But you can always come here as well to Lenon Honor Films on YouTube. Again, thank you so much for being here. It's interesting because whenever I come out here into nature, and I haven't done videos out here in nature in a while, but traditionally what happens is I try to find the perfect location and I'm looking all around. I start walking and I keep walking and I keep walking. And then finally I find a place, I sit down, I get set up and I'm like, oh no, there must be a better place. And then I go and I start again and I just keep on going. And what I figured was that it's really about the journey. It's not really about the destination. It's everything I think about, everything that I see, you know, the obstacles that I have to overcome while I'm getting to that destination. That's really, really important. And this series is going to be dealing with some of my thoughts and ideas. I guess you can say my philosophy, if you will. And this is episode number 1. So I guess why don't we call it the philosophy of Lenon Honor, episode number 1. If you don't know of me, I have a long story that I could probably tell. Maybe in a future episode, I can talk a little bit more about that. But I have so many other, radio interviews that I've done, documentary work. I've written books and all. And if you surf the internet enough, you'll find enough information about me and my wonderful family. My wife and I are married for 11 years. We have 5 beautiful babies. And I mean, I can go on and on. I can talk about my family forever. You know, we have 3 beautiful boys and 2 beautiful girls, and the first 2 babies we had at a birthing center. The last 3 we delivered at home unassisted, and that was that was the most empowering experience that I've ever had, was to bring my own children into the world with my own hands, and my wife, of course, right? And there's something that's very empowering about that. And I really want to help people to empower themselves. And I've done a lot of different types of work, sometimes analyzing society, analyzing the entertainment industry, analyzing the power structure here on planet Earth. But I'm really at a place now where I want to help people to really look internally and ask critical questions about the nature of their internal condition and what can we do to improve upon ourselves? What can we do to become a better husband, a better father, a better mother? What can we do to be of better service to humanity? And these are the types of questions that I'm always asking. And I want to help other people to kind of think about these questions as well, because I think they're very important. And I'm going to be looking, every once in a while, I'm going to look over here because that's where the sun's at. And I don't know why, I just like to look that way. So if you see me looking that way, just act like we're both looking over there. And then we'll come back over here. I like to start this episode number 1, and we're just going to call it Lenon Honors, the philosophy of Lenon Honor. And I have a quote. I've been working on a quote book for some time. My wife, she told me that I need to finish it, and she's absolutely right. I have a couple of books that are in the works. I've written other books as well. And the quote book is interesting because sometimes I'll post a quote on Facebook, or, I may mention it to someone, and the response that I get is really, really positive. So I look forward to finishing that book, and I have it available. But what I want to start doing is sharing some of the quotes in that book and sharing it with you all, if you don't mind. And I'd like to start, because this is something that I've really been thinking about lately. And I've been thinking about it for a while, but I've really been focusing in on it. And that is that the greatest movement is not out there somewhere. The greatest movement is not out there somewhere. The greatest movement is within. The greatest movement is not out there somewhere. The greatest movement is within. And I can give a lot of examples of this. We have been directed to always look outside of ourselves and externalize power. This is something I've been talking about for quite some time. That as human beings, we have been taught that we are these lowly creatures in the universe, and that there is always something that must be above us, and that we must always externalize power to it, and that it will save us. It will make the moves that we need in order to live happy, fulfilled, blessed lives. But the greatest movement is not out there somewhere. The greatest movement is in here. And this is to say that if we wish to transform our lives, we can't do it by looking out there somewhere. We have to do it by looking inside of us and asking the critical question, what is it that I need to change about myself? And there's different levels to this. one of the things that I focused on for a long time was dealing with my thoughts and the thoughts that I keep, because that is inside here. As you refine your thoughts, you purify your thoughts, you realize that what begins to transform in the outside is a reflective of the degree of your own transformation on the inside. So the degree of your purification will begin to express itself in the external. See, the movement is internal. It is sourced from within. We've been told that we have to join a group to be part of a movement, or that we have to join an organization to be part of a movement, or we have to join a religion to be part of a movement, or we have to join a cult to be part of a movement. But in essence, all movement comes from within. It's not out there somewhere. And I want to use this example because this is going to be on the internet. This is a problem, especially on the internet, because the internet gives people this sense of connection to movements that, in point of fact, in reality, the individual who feels that they're attached to a movement have no connection to an actual physical, tangible thing. There's all sorts of movements that we find on the internet that people hold on to, but it's in the cyber world, and it doesn't transform the quality of their lives in any valuable way. And so therefore we externalize, we look at something out there, the cyber world being something out there, so we grasp onto that movement. There's so many different movements. I've in my journey, I've spoken out about quite a few of them, and I'll just mention some here. For instance, what people call the truth movement. What is that? What is the truth movement? What does that mean? The truth about what? If it's not teaching you the truth about who you are and what you are and the power that you have to impact your reality, what is truth? What is a truth movement? Another one I can think of is the zeitgeist movement. What is that? How is being part of a movement over the internet going to transform your life in a positive way? What about the Occupy Wall Street movement and whatever happened to that? See, when we look internally and we move on the inside, it is a process that extends throughout the duration of our life. But when we do it on the external, we try to find a movement on the outside, we find that it's a flash in the pan. Usually we get so happy about it and excited about it initially, and we try to convert other people. Please be a part of this movement. Join this, join that. Please, you got to do this because I'm doing it and I'm excited about it. But it's not transformative. It just gives the illusion of connection to something that's over cyberspace, and then the illusion of internal personal growth and spiritual growth, if you will. See, spiritual growth is internal movement. It is not something that is on the external. This is to say that no one can tell you what your spirituality is, or no one can guide you in your spiritual path. That's an internal issue. Spirituality is an internal issue. It's not on the external. And there's nothing that anyone on the external can tell you that is going to move you and progress you forward spiritually. That's something that you must do. That's internal work that you are responsible for. So you see how it's problematic, because for many people, we get lost in cyberspace, attaching ourselves to movements, believing that somehow movement is out there somewhere. And what do I mean by movement? Movement simply means that you're progressing in life and you're fulfilling your spiritual destiny here on the planet. And everything that is wrapped up into that, because when I say spiritual destiny, it also means in terms of what you do physically, how you think mentally, the actions that you take, the words that you speak, all of these things. See, no one can tell you and transform you over the internet so that you can be something greater than you already are. Only you can do that through the internal work. All movement is within. And it is so easy for us to get caught up in the illusion of movements, especially when it's in the cyber world. It's not tangible. It's not real in the physical sense. And yes, of course, we can find valuable information that can benefit us, but over the internet. But ultimately, it's about what you are going to do on the inside, first and foremost. And simply attaching oneself to a movement doesn't cause you to do the internal work. See, the internal work is something that is quite private and personal. That's when you look at the aspects of yourself that you may not necessarily present to the outside world. In point of fact, the movements allow you the veil, because it's over the cyber world, through which you can shield yourself and from being or shield those aspects of yourself from being revealed to the rest of the world. Do you see what I'm saying here? I hope I made sense with that. It's a veil that people put up, and then they can just be what they profess to be. But what they profess to be is not who they really are. And so if someone wants to deal with the internal, what takes place is they present to the world what and who they are. But when we don't deal with the internal and recognize that movements is within, then we want to shield ourselves from being revealed. And that's what the internet does for many, many people. The greatest movement is not out there somewhere. It's not out there in space. It's not out there in cyberspace. The greatest movement is within. So I ask the question, beloved, how do you move on the inside in the first place? What is the internal movement that you know internally is necessary for you to progress in life? Let's be very clear that movement is about progressions. Movements is about expansion. Movement is about illumination. However, so many of us, we've been taught that expansion, illumination, and progression is something that we must find out there somewhere, that someone else is going to provide that for us, give us instructions on what to do. No. No. It is you. You are the instruction. You are the realization. You are the activation, the illumination. It's not anything. In other words, you are the teacher. The teacher is within you. And there's nothing on the external that is going to teach you anything that is going to move you beyond your current paradigm. The only thing that can move you beyond your current paradigm is you. All movements are truly within. Yes, you're hearing these words, and thank you for listening. I do appreciate it. But it's not going to transform your reality. It's not going to progress. It's not going to progress you forward. What you do with what you have heard here will progress you forward. That is a physical act or a mental act. What you think, the words that you speak, that's all coming from the internal. That's you. You make those progressions. The greatest movement is not out there somewhere. The greatest movement is within. When we realize this, we stop externalizing power. We stop looking to other people to guide us so that we can become, quote unquote, more spiritual. We stop looking for quick fixes. Like, I'm going to do this meditation. I'm going to say this prayer. I'm going to, quote unquote, activate a chakra, and then I'm going to come into a level of understanding. It never works that way. It is all within in the first place. It doesn't matter what ritual you participate in or what practice you participate in. Ultimately, the transformative power that we have as human beings is not something that is activated from the external. It is something that is internal in the first place. All movement is internal in the first place. All movement is internal in the first place. My name is Lenon Honor, and I want to thank you so much for listening to episode number 1 of The Philosophy of Lenon Honor here on YouTube. My YouTube account is Lenon Honor Films. My websites are lenonhonor.com, LENONHONOR.com, and LenonHonorFilms.com. I'm also on Facebook under Lenon Honor, and I also have a Facebook fan page if you'd like to add me on Facebook. I send you lots of love, peace, and positivity. Until next time, please take care. Peace.